Hello, this is Father, and since I've been so pessimistic lately, I thought I would go over something really fast. It's been a long day, so I'm going to try and make it as fast as possible. Uh, there's usually the spring where it tries really hard to go down, and they can't do it anymore, and then it springs up. But uh, there's a second spring that I haven't really seen for a while. So what it is when it attempts to make a lower low, the volume's pretty high, and then it goes back. It kind of like reacts from it, and then it comes back down and tries to make another lower low, but it stops higher. This is what qualifies it. It stops higher than the previous one on lower volume. Those are the only two things that qualify for the possibility for the spring. Now, verification of the spring would be going past the 1425, which I think we could do tomorrow based on what we've kind of done, but at least by Friday. And now I don't think the height's going to go too far. I know that on my previous video I showed that they haven't really sold off that much since 17, so it's not like they're getting rid of their shares. So it could push up fairly high. I think there's liquidity up in the 20s. I don't know. I don't want to speculate how high it can go because on the point and figure it says only something like 18 from my count, and I'm terrible at counting, by the way. Every time I bring up point and figure counts, I'm terrible at it. But based off of the current pattern that it has, I think 18 is the height. But I don't want to be quoted on that because it's uh, so it kind of sucks because it hasn't built much down here to kind of do a really good accumulation spring from. But this is a spring setup, so we may get the up the the very big push up, and yeah, that puts Booksy on, and I'm pretty much on the same page. We seen, or Booksy was seeing somewhere around June for it to run, and yeah, if we can get there up past this Friday, I can just see it kind of taking off into the higher numbers. I know I've sounded bearish lately, uh, but I had totally forgot about the second kind of spring because it's so rare uh, that I see it that I usually don't watch for it. I usually watch for the one that's just kind of like I hate to even try to draw it. I look like a child. Anyway, I'll try to draw it like it tries down, 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 and ends up like looking like this really extremely uh, like takes like an hour of trying to push down, and then finally it lets go and takes off, right? Which that's why I thought this one wasn't convincing because it only made like 4 attempts and then kind of took off. But I wasn't thinking of the secondary type of spring where it comes up and then it kind of goes sideways and it comes back down, stops higher on lower volume, and then starts taking off. And when you zoom in on the day, you see this kind of ascending accumulation, right? And it may do this type of pattern all the way up until it hits the 14, or it could start just really pushing after it gets over, well, over that 1246 kind of region. But I think by Friday, if we're above 1425, we'll hit some kind of we'll have some kind of spike. And of course, if not, if I'm wrong about this being a spring, then it's going to collapse first thing in the morning. But I'm feeling pretty confident about this. I'm feeling pretty good about this second spring. So, on that, have a good evening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good night, Discord.